Tiffany reviews board games while in an airport. Means I'm gonna have to spend a lot of time in an airport. I don't know if I like that idea. So being in an airport reminds me a lot of airships, and if there's one thing I'm a sucker for in board games, aside from train, time travel, superheroes, worker placement, medieval Earth, it's airships. I am a sucker for airships. One of my favorite games that combines two of my passions of trains and airplanes, airships, would be Kings of Air and Steam. Kings of Air and Steam is from Tasty Minstrel Games, which I won't lie, I am a huge fan of Tasty Minstrel Games. Kings of Air and Steam is a board game where you have a company that is responsible for picking up goods at factories and delivering them to goods in cities. You are trying to deliver goods from point A to point B. Point A being the factory where the goods are manufactured, and point B being the city that wants those goods. Of course, there has to be a demand for those goods, i.e. the city can't be full up, and they actually have to want those goods. And then the factory that you pick them up from has to, of course, make those goods. So, the way that you pick up the goods is you fly your airship to the factory, and you park him, and you pick up however many goods your hold can carry. Then, you take those goods to a train depot, deposit them, and then your train takes them to a city that wants them. Pretty simple. No hands! The goal of the game is to have the most victory points at the end, but you can get that a variety of ways. The most upgraded airship, a really upgraded train line, having the most money, a variety of things, really. So there's not just one way that you have to like work to win, which is great. In Kings of Air and Steam, you get to pick which airship you want to captain. And then each airship has a choice of 2 captains to pick from. And each captain gives a different benefit, which I would explain if I had the game with me, but I don't because I'm trapped in an airport and I don't have the game with me. In the beginning of the game, each city is looking for a specific 5 types of goods. Once each city has its 5 goods delivered, it doesn't want any more of that good. And so a token from a draw pile is put on top of that city and it now potentially wants a different good. So, you know, new markets, etc., etc. But once that token fills up, which only has 3 spots, the city no longer wants anything because apparently it is satisfied. Like your mom. So at the beginning of every round, you have to restock all the goods in all the factories. Normally, every factory produces 1 good, unless of course it is one of the goods that were laid out on the tiles at the beginning of the board, in which case it will increase by 1 plus however many tiles of it are up on the market board. So to deliver goods to cities, you have to drop them off at the depot and then have them delivered by train, which you don't actually have a train figure, which I'm very sad about. You have to deliver them by train through a series of networks of depots to the destination city. Ideally, you want to deliver the goods through your own depots because then you don't have to pay for them. If you're delivering the goods through somebody else's depots, you have to pay $1 per good that you're shipping through there. That can add up. You kind of want to build depots as quick as you can on the routes that you know you're going to need because that way later in the game when you need to ship ore from halfway across the map, like you'll be able to do it on a solid network of your own depots and you won't have to go through some other player. Unless of course you're the captain that can go through other depots and doesn't give a shit, because then good for you. It starts to kind of become a race to who can earn enough money is delivering goods to build more depots to deliver goods further on chunks of track that are limited. Because every time somebody lays a depot down, it's worth points at the end of the game, and it's worth 10 points, which is better than the $7 it costs you to lay it, even if you're not the first person to lay that depot down. But of course, to leverage these depots that you're building, you have to have a train that can actually deliver to them, which means you need to upgrade your train as well so that it can go all the way across the map using all these depots. So on your turn, when you only have 1 action that you can do outside of moving your airship, you have to decide, do I build a new depot, do I upgrade my train, or do I deliver goods so I can make money to do those first 2 things? For every turn in Kings of Air and Steam, you have to make a tough decision. Do you make more money or do you spend money? And at that point, how do you make your money? Do you upgrade your airship so you can pick up more goods? Do you upgrade your train so you can deliver those goods further? Or do you build depots so you can deliver further and not have to pay your opponents, who, by the way, look to be doing a way better job than you? They're probably not doing better than you. They're probably doing just as good as you at this game. Kings of Air and Steam has a lot going on, which I really like because it can take only like 2 hours to play once you know how to play it. Even if you don't know how to play it, it's only going to take about 2.5 hours, unless it takes forever for somebody to make their turn, which it does. Here's the thing about taking moves in Kings of Air and Steam. You have to plan out your airship moves four turns in advance. Not rounds, turns, because every round consists of players taking 4 turns each. What ends up happening is you plan out your route, you plan out what you're gonna do, and then you flip that first turn card and you figure out who gets to move first, and you realize you get to move dead last. And the guy that's been eyeing your food monopoly of delivery systems is gonna make it to the factory before you. I think that's one of the things that I really like about Kings of Air and Steam, is that bit of frustration that you plan out everything you're gonna do on your turn, and then it comes down to it and you flip your card and you realize there is no way you are going to beat the guy sitting across from you to wherever it was you wanted to go. I wish I had the components on me to show you, but actually I don't, because the components are heavy. There's so many really nice wooden components. The box is a brick. Kings of Air and Steam is a heavy game. It's a heavy Euro game with a lot of theme and a lot of planning and a lot of stuff that you just need to think about. It can be really overwhelming for a new gamer and someone that isn't used to learning these kinds of games. It can even be overwhelming for gamers that do know these kinds of games and enjoy them. Eventually you get to a point in the rules explanation where you're just like, whatever, I'll figure it out as I go, just move on. So as frustrating as the game is to learn in the beginning, if this is a kind of game that you're really interested in and like in general, you're gonna enjoy it in the later end. Like, the first few rounds you sit there going, I have no clue what I'm gonna do, and you just kind of fumble about. But by the end of the game, you know exactly what you need to do, exactly where you need to go. And I mean, you just pick it up and you run with it. I mean, even by the second round, you already know what's going on because this game just makes sense. Okay, the fact that you have to pick up goods with airships, deliver them to train depots, and then have the trains delivered doesn't make sense. But playing the game makes sense. So would I recommend Kings of Air and Steam? Yeah, if that kind of game is what you like. Hang on, let's see if my flight's boarding yet. Nope. Kings of Air and Steam is a big game. It's really heavy, and I've probably missed something in the explanation, but I feel you can get a gist of the game from this review. And, I mean, in my defense, I am wandering around an airport. If you like pickup and delivery games with solid economy points, pre-planning turn movements, Kings of Air and Steam is good. The components are good, the gameplay is solid. I mean, it just takes a while to pick up and run with, but once you get one round under your belt, you're good to go. So Kings of Air and Steam, I really like the game. The replayability value is just off the chart. Every time you play, you build the map differently with the tiles. It's fantastic. Plus, it scales well from 2 to 7 players. Yeah, it might take a little bit longer with 7 than 2, but I mean, still, it can do it. Maybe it's 3 players. So lessons we've learned here. When trapped in an airport, walk around, record a review about a video game you don't actually have on you, and then go to the bar and drink wine at last call. These are important life lessons.
Please keep clear.
Almost got their bag stuck.